Welcome back to another Shadowverse gameplay video. Today we will be starting a new series. Hopefully it goes well. I'm not that good at deck building, but I do like building decks. We will be doing a BudgetVerse Shadowverse gameplay video. Basically the goal is to build the decks on a budget, and maybe it's not necessarily the best time to be doing that. With the set just releasing, everyone's wants to play their legendaries, their new golds and everything. But we will be going back to an old favorite. There's actually no cards from Starforged Legends in this deck list. It's going to be Stormhaven. So the draws of Stormhaven is, there's a decent amount. It's pretty good at hitting down opponents who do not have ways to gain life or don't play a lot of wards, like D-shift based decks, even rune based decks, except you have to be careful of the kaleidoscopic glow. It's very good, in my opinion, when blood is good, which in this case it's not. But because blood does a lot of damage to themselves, and they don't really have a way to deal with the amulets in play, though they may play stuff like Diabolic Drain, you get the storm damage off onto them first. Otherwise, it's pretty decent against shadow-based decks, as long as they don't land a Cowie, because you're getting the storm and you just have natural ways to remove stuff. I don't really necessarily think it's a great deck, but for the BudgetVerse, we will constrain ourselves to about 5,000 vials. As you can see, the vial count is about 5,150 for this deck, which is totally fine. I think even like a person opening like their first 60, 70 packs, they're gonna get a lot of these cards, and they're also gonna be able to craft some of the silvers. And then probably, the only gold in this deck is Garuda. And Garuda, you cannot play the deck without Garuda. And yeah, we'll look at the deck. So we have 3 Poignant Prayer, 3 Sacred Plea, 3 Lyrial, 3 Manu, 3 Hollow Dogma, 3 Black Inscripture, 3 Aria, 2 Sister Initiate, 3 Divine Birdsong, 3 Priest of the Cudgel, 3 Bird Keeping Disciple, 2 Dance of Death, 3 March Hare's Tea Time, and then 3 of the Winged Sentinel Garuda. We'll go ahead and get into the game. I think for this BudgetVerse series, we're going to go ahead. I have hit Master, so we're going to be able to go ahead and play in the ranked mode without fear of, something going horribly wrong, losing 5 in a row, losing all those points. But no, I think the deck is fine right now. It's always been a pretty decent deck. Just the ability to, some of the best draws are pretty insane. March Hare's into Garuda beats a lot of decks these days. In terms of non-budget upgrades, I used to run 2 Lions. Now that the Lions cost 9, I actually haven't tried out the deck. Been trying out the budget version for this video, but we will see how we do. We're gonna go ahead, no editing, because one, I hate, I'm not good at editing. I don't even know if my laptop can handle the editing. But number 2 is that, I just want to give, a natural progression of how the deck works. I don't want to show you some of the wins. I just want to show you how 5 games with the deck goes. And, it's going to be a natural view there. We got 2, 3, 4. I think this is better than anything else we could get, possibly. They're against Shadow. And there's a Lyrial, so we definitely do not want to be playing that on 2. Beast Caller is definitely the way to go. Dead Moon Disciple. That's interesting. So it looks like we may be going against some sort of more aggressive Shadow deck, which is totally fine for us. I think on the balance, it could be a little easier to deal with Andrilphus. Okay. So I've heard of the Addo meme being pretty good, but I actually have not seen the card. I'm assuming I'm just going to get wrecked by the Addo meme here, and that'd be pretty bad, if you ask me. They're going to play Voice of Resentment into Addo meme. No, the Bone Chimera, actually. Which is good for us. We're going to be able to go ahead and just remove 2 of our opponent's followers. We are playing Haven to negate some of the last words triggers. Our opponent could still definitely have an Addo meme with a Voices of Resentment and a 1-drop, they could drop the Atom Meme, which this deck doesn't necessarily deal well with. The Demon Eater comes out here, which is fine. Our opponent doesn't really have a large board, and they're just going to concede. I mean, a free win is a free win, but that was one of our better draws. I'm assuming our opponent conceded to the double Blackened Scripture. Seems like, you know, a little annoying for a Shadow to be countered so easily by some random Haven deck. You know, just random Haven decks just playing Blackened Scripture because it's their removal spell of choice. We'll go ahead and get into another game. I'm not very good at editing. We have the deck list to the right, actually, right here. And trying to get some of these, you know, displays to work a little better. There's no real way for me to, you know, have like Hearthstone where the cards disappear after you draw into them. I don't think there's a program for Shadowverse right now. But, you know, having the deck list on the side, I think pretty cool. As long as, you know, this is a very simple deck list. There's a lot of 3-ofs and 2. It's basically all 3-ofs and then 2 2-ofs. So, very easy there. We're up against Rune. I don't really think I like any of these cards. So the problem about being against Rune playing first is if they're like D-Shift or any sort of one that wants to play Kaleidoscopic Glow. Beast Caller, it feels horrible. But I think it's still definitely the, you know, the best card in the matchup. Probably try to mulligan there or into like a menu for turn 2 would be also nice. And there we have the menu. Our opponent could also be playing Dirt Rune, a popular deck these days. I don't really like the Dirt Rune deck. I think it's a little weaker than a lot of decks, but maybe our opponent will show us that it's, you know, a good deck. Can go ahead and drop down the menu. So our kind of early game is not that great looking at our hand, but we do have, you know, the mid game of March Hare into Garuda, which is exactly what we want to see. I'm gonna play the Dwarf Alchemist. If they played the Magic Illusionist, I would definitely Blackened Scripture, I think. So we don't really have a great line here. Trying to think of our opponent's 3-drops. I think it's better to go face here and play Sister Initiate. This plays around the Carl, the 3-play.23. It is worse against Red Hot Ritual, but it's better against that, and they choose actually not to trade in, which is interesting. So we will go ahead and remove it here because we're going to be very busy with our play points in the next couple turns. This is pretty interesting. I guess the argument could have been made to actually remove the Scrap Iron Smelter and then just go for face for 2 damage. I could definitely see that play. So on 5 play points, our opponent probably has a Wild Golem. Is one of the things that I can think of off the top of my head. We are definitely going to be playing March Hares here, and the Pinion Prayer is actually an insane draw off the top. So we have a couple options here. Our opponent doesn't really have an easy way to gain life. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. If we use the Evolve this turn to hit the face. I think Evolves just always have to hit the face, you know. Looking at the context of our hand, it's just all burn. One of the things about Tin Soldier is it's you know, it still can hit face, you know. A lot of the Wonderland Dreams cards, just like Scarlet Sabor and Dance of Death is totally fine, and it definitely what's it called? It definitely validates our reasoning of hitting face there. Because we would have a 5/6 that just died, and our opponent would be up 3 life. So we have an interesting choice here. The opponent could have like a Levi, which is not that great against us here. I think we're just going to take the 3 damage to the face. Alternatively, we could have, you know, maybe waited, but waiting only nets us 2 damage. This nets us the 3 damage that we need. Our hand looks completely bonkers now that our opponent's mid-game wasn't that great. Opponent could play a Dance of Death here, which would be pretty bad for us. Nothing we could really do about that. Ooh, another Poignant Prayer. I mean, this certainly has to be the play here. I wonder what my opponent has in hand. I don't believe Rune can deal 7 burst, but I could be wrong there. They technically need 4 bursts from spells, and then a Levi Evolve for 3 damage would have done it, but our opponent does decide to trade. They're recovering some play points with the Starseer's Telescope. Looks like they just drew like all their Earth Rune cards. We, fortunately enough, like the power level of this deck is our followers did not even have to live. Like, we barely did any damage to the face with our followers living. We've basically just been, you know, dealing damage from the hand. I mean, of course, this is one of the more insane draws that we can have, but if our opponent was able to, you know, punish us a little bit more in the mid stages of the game, maybe we wouldn't be in this situation. Though the Dance of Death off the top would probably put us over the top, I think. That was just, you know, kind of showing the power level of this deck. Garuda is really the card you need. Like, Garuda is just such an amazing card. The card is just so busted. But yeah, after the Lion nerf, I mean, obviously the Lion nerf comes with the Alice nerf, so neutral, Haven, and just neutral in general is not that great. But I was playing Lion in this deck before. If you want to check that out, I had a video before. That was actually before Starforged Legends, but I think it was about 2 weeks ago with the Stormhaven with Lion. Lion's actually a pretty good part of the deck, just as a 1 or 2 of. Casting it for 7 play points and being able to accelerate the amulet in your hand is just a great thing. You know, casting it for 7, you get you know, draw 2 cards from Sacred Plead. It's just already a good deal. It turns the dead cards into your hand, in your hand to, you know, live cards. So we're against Sword. I don't think Sword's a great matchup, especially playing second. So this is interesting. We really do want these 2 in our hand, but I think they're not that great, and it's easy to get overwhelmed by Sword because Sword just is going to be playing followers a lot of the time. That's just what they do, even if it's more of a mid-rangey deck. Though there's always the case that it could be this type of ambushy aggro Sword, which makes the mulligan even a better decision there. So we'll see what our opponent plays. Maybe Veteran Lancer, Fervid Soldier, Quick Litter is also possible. We technically have 2 options here, Menu or Black Inscripture. I think I like to play the Menu here. Get something on the board. We gotta. It doesn't die to removal. I think it's gonna be pretty good here. Princess Juliet. So instead of playing Divide Burn Song, we're definitely going to try and remove our opponent's pressure here. Lyriel is an amazing draw there. Lyriel is an amazing card to have. we really want a 2-drop now, Beast Calari off the top would be really, really good. Ephemera. Yeah, that's interesting. So we're at 12. It's not a particularly great life total to be at. Since we can't actually kill the Ephemera, I like to play the Bird Keeping Disciple here. Actually, it does evolve into a 6/5, which is really nice. Our hand is looking pretty decent here. I don't think we're in a great position. Council of Card Knights makes us even in a much worse position. Well, we're certainly in a bad position now. I was just gonna say, if Albert comes down, as long as it's not Albert into Alwaidas, we have a decent chance. But totally forget about Council of Card Knights. Complete blowout of card here. Lyriel here doesn't really accomplish much, which is the problem. And we're just, you know, dying to a bunch of our opponent's Storm anyways, which is also bad. I mean, I think the plan just has to be our opponent has nothing, right? At that point, this probably just goes face. I mean, I could not think of a better play. A more risky play would be to use Hollow Dogma on the Pinyon Prayer and then hope to draw Black Inscripture exactly. We're basically dead to a lot of things. Yeah, now we're dead. But looking at our board, technically if our opponent didn't kill us, we had lethal on board, so just a little unfortunate there. It's a little unfortunate. I don't even think we could really have done anything if we played first there. Maybe we could have. I think that's just a really difficult matchup. I think sword is probably the best class right now. Like between like ambush sword, like ambush style swords, like commander style swords, aggro style swords, just a mid-range sword, just having Roland. Like it just has so many options with, you know, staircase to paradise, I think, or stairway to paradise, and then the Lux Solar Lancer. Like it just has so many options right now. Even if you try and beat them down, they're just gonna come back by drawing 3 cards. It's kind of insane. We're against the Dragon, which I think is a bad matchup for us once again. But it's possible it's not. I think Divine Birdsong is good enough against Dragon that we can keep it. Especially since we're playing first. Playing second, it's a little more iffy, I think. Keeping a 3-drop. Menu is a nice one there as well. I mean, although Beast Call would probably be the best one, Menu cannot be killed by opponent's spells. We are playing against PDK, which I've not played against PDK Prime Dragon Speaker with this type of a deck yet. Interesting that our opponent did play the Ivory Dragon. Sandstorm Dragon. Okay, well, I didn't expect to see this card. I think the play is probably just to go face here. Our opponent can't really, I don't think they can really represent a better way of killing the menu unless they have a way to pump this. They can't do like a Fire Lizard. Angelic Knight. Never mind then. Oh, well, I mean, I did not expect that at all. It's a semi-punish. Not the worst case. So we have an interesting decision here. So next turn, because, you know, this thing is just, for some reason, really annoying. We'll probably play the Priest of the Cudgel. So on this turn, we can go ahead. I think we can go ahead and be a little mana inefficient with the Divine Birdsong. We don't really need... I mean, our hand isn't great. We'd really want to draw, like, Tea Time, Trinity Dragon, and Goblin, okay. Yeah, I also did not factor into that, I guess. Looks like our opponent's playing some sort of weird aggro deck. Sacred Plea is a fine draw, I guess. I think it still has to be Priest the Cudgel. So you can remove most things. See, the problem is, if we go aggro here, like face, our opponent's probably just has like a bunch of random aggro cards like Aina and then a Fort, which is pretty bad for us. Play Sacred Plea. So our opponent plays nothing. So our opponent has 6 on board. I think we're gonna actually remove this. So now it leaves them with only, hopefully killing the Goblin leaves us with 1 extra turn, because the Goblin represents 3 damage with the Evolve. That's a little unfortunate. And I played that a little poorly. Actually, that's not that bad. Dance of Death off the top. Guess that's fine. This is gonna allow us to, you know, keep the largest board. I think I like this play better. The other option would have been to keep this as a 3-4, hit into that, make this a 3-1, black Inscripture that, and Hollow Dogma to draw a bunch of cards. I don't necessarily think that's a great play. Our opponent, this would be their Phoenix Rider Aina or their 4th turn, which neither actually kill us, which is nice. We're just hoping and looking for Garuda, I guess. Pine Prayer. That will be the exact lethal, which is pretty nice for us. I think if we didn't draw that, it'd be a little more sketchy. We would definitely black Inscripture, put our opponent at 2. At 7 play points, I don't think there's another way, because the most powerful play would be Fort as a 5-1, and then evolving to 7. Ooh, Berserker. I guess I have not played much Haven. Oh, this is the Temple Ogre, which is, oh my god, Temple Ogre. Like, I actually was playing in take 2 against it, and I instant conceded. The opponent removed like all my board. The Temple Ogre was like a 4-6, and I didn't even have anything in hand to kill it. Like, that card is super bonkers in take 2. And we'll go for a win. Right there. I haven't decided if I'm going to keep that first game, count that as a game played. You'll see at the length of this game. So our opponent was playing some sort of aggro dragon deck. It's probably still PDK, but they were playing it in like a very aggro style. I think they might have assumed that we were more of a control type of Aegis. So why they want to get their stuff on the board, get us low for their storm stuff to finish off. finish this off. Still ended up being, you know, the same type. I haven't really played Prime Dragon Keeper. I don't really know how the deck plays. I've played against it a decent amount of times though. Let's see, Fu. And pretty diverse. The metagame is diverse to say the least. I just don't really think we want any of these. I think we're just here looking to get Menu and Beast Calls as our 2-drops. And Menus and Beast Calls, oh baby, those are the 2-drops that we do get. And to top it all, and a Black Inscription, why not? So I think it's actually interesting if we play Menu or Beast Call here. So our opponent plays nothing. So I don't foresee us, I definitely think that we'll be able to make it to turn 6. So I'm actually going to lead off with the Menu. I don't think it's a great play. Your opponent probably has like an Elf Child May, and they probably wouldn't commit that on the first turn. It's kind of one of the more annoying cards. Dungeon Call Fairy, okay. Menu is going to be able to net some damage. The thing with, you know, if we played Menu on this turn, our opponent plays the 2/2, trades into our Menu doesn't get any damage. This way, with the Beast Call and the Pioneer Prayer, we're generally going to get the damage through. Goblin Mage is fine for us. We don't really have a great line. What 4-drops are they likely to play? Maybe like, they might play Flower Princess. I actually have no idea. Do kind of want to keep the Priest of Cudgel. I think this is fine. I want to keep the Black Inscription. It's possible it's better to go with the Black Inscription on the Goblin Mage, keeping the Lyrial in hand. Because Lyrial has a, you know, a very high upside in just pinging off, you know, X1s on our opponent's field. And I guess it also dies to Sylvan Justice. Not in a great position, I would say, here, but in terms of like card advantage, we really don't have any card advantage. Pinion Prayer, they say. Let's see, so this is 2 guaranteed, another 2 probably guaranteed. So 4 brings this one down to 14. Another 2 guaranteed here to 12. I think Priest of Cudgel is fine here. I mean, it's certainly a play. Get a push sort of a board advantage. Even though we're falling behind in cards by a decent amount. I mean, one, you know, March Hares or like a Garuda off the top would be really nice here. Oh, Angelic Snipe. That's a little annoying. I don't think our opponent's going to play the 0 drop fairies. Maybe they will though. I would play 1 here maybe. That's fine, I guess. So the question is if we want to evolve the Priest of the Cudgel here, or sorry, evolve the Holy Falcon here. I think it's fine to evolve it here. Just want to push through a little bit of damage. You know, the last points of damage. we've already committed the Priest of the Cudgel to the board, so our opponent could very easily just remove it anyways, and then we save the evolve point for no reason. Okay, well, that's not the ideal card for us to see here. That was a good placement for us though. So see, if our opponent had played the fairy last turn, they would have been in a situation where they could just easily trade off with a 4-1. Bird Keeping Disciple is fine card. That puts a follower on the board. You know, another Cassiopeia is kind of annoying, but I guess no, that was decently played on our opponent. Well, not decently played. It's just, I guess if they play the fairy from their hand, then this deals 1 less damage. So, but I still would have liked to see the fairy on the board. In case I choose to not evolve the falcon, then it trades, you know, very easily into that. That's 7 damage. That, unfortunately for us, that's going to be exactly 7. We're still, you know, live to a decent number of different cards. Not that card though. So one of the reasons I really like Sacred Play in the deck, you know, being able to play a Sacred Play on turn 1 is just extremely powerful. It makes it so like situations like these, we have extra cards in our hand. Like I even played Sacred Plea in the neutral / lion versions of the deck. We could be dead here, I guess, though unlikely. We don't really have a way to kill our opponent though. This is probably a loss. We would need 2 good top decks, followed by our opponent not killing us next turn. So like probably a Dance of Death into something else, which we do not get. Our opponent certainly has a Roach in hand, depending on how much bounce and non-follower spells. So spells our opponents have, they may be able to kill us with Roach. So that's 1 spell. Fairy Circle, 2 spells. I think Roach kills. No, another spell. Turn that. Oh, there's the Dungeon Crawl Fairy for the finishing off. If you can see, like, kind of the deck kind of draws kind of weirdly sometimes. Cards don't always line up the best. I think we can get 1 more game in. Just for the hell of it, why not? Making a long video, I mean, people don't watch videos this long anyways. Maybe the overlay would, you know, attract some people. They like to see the deck list. Maybe it's a good thing. But no, the BudgetVerse series, I just want to, you know, people want to play budget decks that, you know, are maybe good. I mean, looking at the decks we played against, I would say, if this deck plays first, it has, you know, looking at the results of 6 games, has a okay chance of winning if it goes first. Going second, depending on the matchup. We haven't really played much Control. I think Control's kind of dead in the meta. Even playing like Blood Control. One of my favorite decks is just, the deck plays so poorly in the meta. Spawn nerf, obviously. I'm just gonna keep complaining about the spawn nerf because Spawn of the Abyss, please. Here, we're definitely keeping this. It's possible we keep Priest of the Cudgel. I think if I knew that all rune decks were dirt rune, Priest of the Cudgel is an instant keep. Hall Dogma, I don't think it's the 2-drop we want, and we end up getting it anyways. But if we knew that all of our opponents were playing dirt rune, like I think Priest of the Cudgel is a very good keep playing second. It gets rid of most of the cards, like it gets rid of Magic Illusionists, Halo Golems. It does a lot of work. We're gonna see the first instance of the Sister Initiate here. The Kaleidoscopic here is fine for us actually. Seems to be either, you know, some sort of heavy control deck or a D-shift. So we can actually go, certainly the play is to play one of the Pioneer Prayers. We can go with the Sacred Play here. I think I like to go for the Sacred Play here. The cards in our hand are not necessarily great. The game is probably going to have to go to turn 7 so Pinion Prayer can fit on the curve somewhere. And the 2 storm damage coming in at, turn 5 versus like turn 6 doesn't really make a difference. Bird Keeping Disciple is a decent draw. We are just going to go ahead and get into the damage here. So there's 2 points of damage in there. Although I just said that 2 points of damage doesn't really matter. Here we're going to be able to develop 2 different threats. Hopefully our opponent can't take it out. Unfortunately, they can probably take it out with the Angelic Snipe and like a Wind Blast, which they don't go for here. They're going to bounce our Sacred Plea, which I'm totally fine with. Like that's great news for us. Fate's Hand is a little annoying, but it's not an Angelic Snipe, which is what we fear here. And they don't have it, which is nice. I think it's an easy Bird Keeping Disciple here. I mean, our draw's looking pretty good against D-Shift. They have cast, a decent amount of spells already, though. There was the 2 Kaleidoscopics with a Sorcery Cache into Mystic Ring, I believe, and a Fate's Hand. So, assuming they started off with a D-Shift in hand, they're doing pretty well. Ooh, Magic Owl is a very interesting one. I actually have not tried the card out in my D-Shift deck. I did post a D-Shift video previously. I don't know how good the card is. It seems pretty good though. Maybe it's just like super good and there's, I should definitely be playing it, but it seems pretty decent here, at least. Ooh, that's a little interesting, but I don't really think so. I think the play just has to be tea time here. And like usual, the damage definitely has to go to face here. So we're looking to kill our opponent probably, unless they have the 3rd Kaleidoscopic or a way to gain health or ward. We're looking to kill our opponent on turn 7 here. Ooh, that's turn 6. That's actually pretty annoying for us. They drew the 3rd Kaleidoscopic. It's just a frustrating thing to deal with when you're playing Haven. Divine Birdsong. Let's see here. So we have 1 Hollow Dogma and 6 amulets in hand, which is kind of crazy. Divine Birdsong was definitely one we want to play. So we're definitely playing one of these. Question is if we want to play both of them. I think we go ahead and play both of the Pioneer Prayers here. I think this is fine. If somehow, they have like another Kaleidoscopic or something, even though I don't think they can have a 4th one. But in case they did, we're killing on turn 8 anyways. In this case, we present 3 amulets of 2 countdown. And the surprise factor is actually the March Hares, which could be Hollow Dogma on that turn. Our opponent has played a lot of spells. They only have 20 cards left in their deck. We're not in a great position, I would say. Which is just kind of, how the match goes. We'll just go ahead and play this. It's possible that we could have played Hollow Dogma last turn on the Divine Bird Song. Evolve, hit our opponent for 5. It would dig us deeper 1 card. Yeah, maybe. So last turn we could have had. It would have been interesting. They're at 8 the whole time, so if we Hollow Dogma onto the Divine Bird Song, Evolve, hit them for 5, they're at 3, and we're able to play 1 Pinion Prayer. It's possible we dig 1 card deeper with the Hollow Dogma, that we get a Garuda to kill them on the, in this case it didn't happen because the card we drew was Bird Keeping this up, but it's possible. That would be the only way to accelerate our win into a turn 7 win, which potentially the play, depending on what our opponent does here. I'm not too sure how this is gonna work. I mean, as we never really know with D-Shift. But we will see. I'm praying Golem Assault. So it definitely looks like our opponent. Our opponent does not have lethal, I don't think. Maybe they do. They don't have lethal. So we could do that too. We could also go here. Looking at it, I don't think we were rewarded for making that line of play. Let's see, so if we instead played the Beast Call area would be on 1. Actually, we were definitely rewarded there, so if we made that play, Beast Call area would have been on 1. We would have these 3 on board plus a March Hares. Beast Call area would proc into a 2-1 Holy Falcon. We would, after an Evolve, or maybe not, I guess the Regal Falcon could hit into it. Yeah. It's a similar play there. This case, we come out 1 damage on top because of the fact that the Evolve on the Tin Soldier actually deals 3 instead of the extra 2 of an Evolve. But that was a pretty fun game there. Pretty interesting. Our opponent wasn't able to kill us, and we were able to get it to turn 8, which making it through 3 Kaleidoscopics. At least if those were Beast Calls, I don't think we'd be in the same situation, but since they're Pinion Prayers, we're in a great shape there. Waiting for our opponent's connection. Who knows if we'll ever get there, but I'd like to thank everyone for watching, and look forward to more BudgetVerse videos. I think the new layout's fine. We'll try and get some more exciting things to do with Shadowverse. Try to be able to play on a budget. As we can see, the deck results were not too bad. I think we did get a good draw in some of the games we won, and our opponent didn't really get a great draw, but for 5,000 vials, you could be doing a lot worse. So I'd like to thank everyone for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. See you later.